Ladies, 7 questions to ask on your first date. Now, this is important. Let me tell you why. Because they're not only 7 questions to ask to help you deepen into your feminine energetic in a greater capacity, because these questions will help bring out healthy masculine essence in the individual that you're with, but also it's going to help you know and understand and connect to this person that you're with. Blessings to you all, blessings to you all. I'm excited about this. Now, whilst there are many questions you can ask, of course, on the first, second, third, and ongoing dates, this question, these 7 questions, they can be really important because it's going to give you a feel of whether or not you want to be in this relationship. Do you want to continue it? I don't think you're here to waste time. I don't think any of us are here to give our energy away to someone that A, doesn't deserve it, but B, just isn't a resonance with us. And we want to know that early on in the piece, because people ask me all the time, well, when do I ask these types of questions? When do I really go deep? I don't want to scare the individual. I don't want to scare this guy. I don't want to scare this person. And you're right. You don't want to go too deep, too quick sometimes. You have to enjoy the lightness and the play. And these 7 questions can be playful and can be light, depending on how you approach it. So, number 1, before I even go into the questions, what do you need to be and how do you need to present? Present from a place of lightness and curiosity. Be infinitely curious. Lean into the conversation. I'm assuming that if you're on this first date, you're on this first date for a reason. You've had a video call or you've been on the phone a couple of times at least, and you've got a good feel for this person. You know what he looks like. You know who he is. You've got an idea at a base level at least. Of course, you're going on a date to get to know more about him, but you're comfortable enough to be able to lean in. You feel safe. That's important. You wouldn't be asking these questions if you didn't feel safe and if you didn't have intrigue and you weren't interested. So you've got to be interested, of course. I want you to physiologically lean in when you're asking these questions. Ask these questions from a place of vulnerability and openness. And in fact, you ask this question, and then of course you could also respond as well to your own question. And that's an important part of the process as well. You're sharing your vulnerability and how you meet some of these questions, because whilst a couple of them are light and fun and playful, some of them can be confronting. And how he shows up to these questions, how he shows up to you when he's responding to these questions, his body language, his energetic, his tonality, his verbiage around it, his clarity around these questions helps you understand where he is at as a heart-centered, evolved, healthy, mature, masculine man. So, 7 questions in no particular order. Here's the first one. What are his top 5 values? What's most important to him in life? What drives him? Why is he here? It's not so much his purpose, but it's what inspires him to live a productive, connected life. What are the things that he wants the most? Where does he spend most of his time? What does he think about the most? What does he dream about the most? Where does he spend most of his money? What does he talk about the most with his peers? This is important. So what are his top 5 values? At least get an idea or a sense of this, because then you're going to want to know, is there a values alignment with me? That doesn't mean you have to share the same values, not at all. But it does mean that his values need to align with yours. Next question. Describe his relationship to both his mother and his father, or primary caregiver, female and male if he has that, in 3 words. Pay attention to this one. And he can use contrasting words. It can be, like for me, if I was to explain my relationship to my father when I was younger, it would be weary, it would be approval, and it would be love. I looked up to him. I wanted love from him. So they can be contrasted words. They can be words of opposite. They can be even quote unquote conflicting words. So those questions are important. Next question, ask him his most favorite thing or memory or experience from childhood. See how he lights up. Does his little boy inside him light up, or does he dwindle down? Does it show you maybe that he's had trauma and pain from his past? Has he not got a positive experience or healthy experience to share with you? Has he maybe got a painful, memorable experience? Perhaps when he shares from a place of, I can't remember my childhood. That tells you a little bit about what he's suppressing. And maybe that he hasn't had a fully healthy childhood. Or it tells you something about his memory or his brain condition. But either way, it's an important question. Next question. What is one of the biggest challenges he has overcome? How did he do that? And what was the result? What was the outcome of that challenge that he overcame? Now pay attention to how he expresses this and how he shows this to you. What challenges is he speaking to? The outcome, did it benefit many or did it just benefit him? Notice the nuances of his language. Is he hyper selfish or is he more inclusive and collaborative? What approach did he take to the challenge? And what did the challenge mean to him and how did it affect his life personally? Notice if he's integrating emotional constructs and emotional expression and vulnerability in that. Notice what level of detail he goes to. That will tell you, if he's going to a great level of detail here, it's probably going to tell you that he has a capacity to be really reflective and also really expressive in other aspects of your relationship as well. So that's an important part. Next question is question number 5. What is his greatest fear and why? Now, men will struggle. The masculine will struggle to express fear because the masculine struggles to be vulnerable. There are biological and cultural reasons for this. There are evolutionary reasons for this and cultural reasons for this, that the masculine struggles to be vulnerable. Out in the savannah or in the wilderness, hundreds of thousands or millions of years ago, it didn't necessarily pay to be vulnerable, to be in touch with one's emotions at a deep level, particularly in the time of danger. And we were involved in such a volatile environment when we were evolving back then. Now we don't have that, but the trait, the genealogical trait, the biological trait of that is still within us to some level. So notice how vulnerable and how emotionally expressive or emotionally fit or emotionally intelligent or emotionally mature he is here in terms of how he can access expressions within himself, particularly fear. Because men often want to mask fear with anger or frustration or some other emotion, some secondary emotion, because accessing fear can be really confronting for them, especially if they haven't been taught. So this gives you an idea of how he grew up. Did he grow up to express his emotions in a healthy way, not in a leaky, watery way? Is he overly expressive? Because that can be a sign as well that maybe he's too immature with his emotions and he hasn't got a hold or a container on them. So his inner masculine isn't exactly grounded and rooted into earth. So that's important too. Question number 6, what is his biggest dream in life? You want to see how excited he is, how connected he is to his purpose, how clear he is to the vision that he has for himself. This is important. Why? Because a person in their masculine needs to feel useful. They have to carry utility. A man having purpose is a man on a mission, a man that has meaning. We have evolved, men have evolved to carry great utility and usefulness in their tribes, in their societies, in the people that surround them, particularly the women in their lives. We derive a great deal of self-worth and honor from being useful and adding value to the lives of others. So pay attention. How big is his vision? It doesn't mean it has to impact billions of people, but how connected is he to his dream or his dreams? Irrespective of what they are, how clear can he articulate that? It shows you that he has sovereignty and self-respect and self-reliance. This is very attractive to the feminine because it promotes certainty. It promotes self-respect. And ultimately, from a place of procreation, because we look for that at an unconscious level, and mating, it demonstrates that he has capacity. He has capacity to look after and nurture in his way as well and contribute to the family unit, if that's what you want to create. But even from an unconscious level, that is transpiring, irrespective. And last question, what is the worst thing that he has done? Why does he feel he did that? And what did he learn from it? Worst thing, quote unquote, worst thing. He needs to interpret that. So it'd be interesting to see how open and vulnerable he is there. It'll be interesting to see how deeply he goes into expressing that. Is there remorse around that? Is there guilt? You're noticing, are there hyper selfish or quote unquote narcissistic traits that accompany that question? You're noticing how deeply he can tap into the emotional construct of that and how it affected him and how it affected those around him. Notice what level of detail he goes to. In other words, that will give you an idea of how carefully he has thought about this issue and how much pain it has brought to his life. And is he going to make those same choices again, or has he really grown from them? All of this is giving you an idea of, is he connected? Can he be connected to you? Do you share similar values and approaches to key areas of life that really matter? And these questions can be fun. They can be a little confronting or intense, but at the same time, they can be really intriguing and heart-opening as well. And so the opportunity is to deepen your relationship right off the bat. Immediately, just go into, this is what I want. I'm here to have a long-term relationship. I'm here to be in a committed relationship. I want to know about you before I continue spending time spending time with you. And here's the thing. You can be looking for casual sexual encounters. These questions are still really good for that as well, because it deepens your connection in your relationship, which can deepen your sexual intimacy, the quality of your sexual intimacy, because there's layers to how you know this person, and you're connecting at different places and different points within your dynamic and within your relationship. So get clear on what you desire, what you want, and where you're at in life, and then choose to share that really openly and ask these 7 questions, because they can be super empowering. Now, there were some questions there around that inner child and around that little boy and around their experiences. We have to understand that complementary wounds meet each other in the middle of a relationship, or in a relationship. And the opportunity is for us to look at our stuff as well, and how we complement each other and how we can show up in that relationship, not to heal the other person, because you're not the other person's coach, you're not their therapist, you're not their mother or father, but to be a mirror for them, and they can be a mirror for you, and you can engage in your healing through their experiences and how they show up to you, changing the pivots of time. How they once reacted doesn't mean they have to react this way now. And if you're both cognizant and aware of that, you get to heal each other, or heal yourselves through each other. And that's the beauty of being in a conscious, healthy relationship. Now, if you're a little stuck in this area and you're not sure what wounds you have, take my Love Block quiz. It will help you. It's actually an assessment. It will help you identify. It's completely free. It will help you identify your biggest blocks to love. And that will be in the link. The link will be in the notes, and it will be in the copy. And just go for it, because it can be deeply, deeply revealing. And you'll be on a journey with that Love Block quiz, and I'll provide you with insight into your love block, tools and techniques to shift it, and just ways to develop a deeper sense of self and a deeper version of you. Power and blessings to you. Grateful that you're here. I'll see you again soon.